independent in thought, and punk rock in life. It's the Chad Benson Show.
I understand that Speaker Pelosi hates President Trump, but to do something to deny the American people the State of the Union address that we've watched our entire lives, the ceremony, the president coming in, one side rising, the other side sitting, stone-faced, the Supreme Court of the United States there. It is a democracy writ large, and to see it undercut by partisan politics and the refusal to negotiate a compromise is something that is just appalling.
Yeah, it is, right? It is. The vote's pretty simplistic. That they're not going to open the government. They're not. Both sides are steadfast in what it is that they want. And it has very little to do with the actual situation at hand. Meaning, we all want to see immigration sorted out. We want to see it comprehensive reform. We want to make sure our borders are secure. I talk to people out there on a daily basis who are on the left or on the right. They all want the same thing. We all want to go to the same place. We're just going to take a different route to get there. I keep saying that. This is symbolism, and it's that wall and what it represents. That's what this is, right? Symbolism, not the effectiveness of the wall, any of that stuff. Even though they voted for it in the past, it doesn't matter. The disdain that they have for Trump and the disdain that Trump has for them is real. And because of that, this is what we have right now. There's nothing wrong with compromise on both sides of the aisle. You get from the right. You know what? He better stay here and he better not give an inch. And the fact that he's even canceled the State of the Union is ridiculous. And I'm like, slow your roll. I said, the reality is life's about trade-offs. What are your must-haves and your wants? Right? Must-haves and your wants. For Trump, his must-have is a wall. His wants would be, hey, we're going to kick everybody out of here probably if they're here illegally. For the Democrats, their must-haves are we must not have that wall. And our want is to keep as many people here and give them some sort of path to citizenship down the road. So what do? You compromise. That's it. Compromise. Could you imagine if these two were running a business right now that affected all of us? Oh, wait, they are. But could you imagine that if you work for essentially your CEO and over here you've got the CFO and they're battling it out and all of a sudden business just stops. 20% of your business is just not doing anything. We're not billing anybody. Nothing's going out. It's just we've had to send people home. They're fighting over whatever. That's what we've got. It is a joke.
Why doesn't Speaker Pelosi, who cares so deeply about these issues, why don't you sit opposite President Trump and say, okay, I'll give you $1 billion for the wall, not $5 billion. Negotiate, compromise. Compromise is painful for everybody, but this refusal to speak and then to cancel this grand event on the world stage like this, I think is really an embarrassment to the United States.
I don't know if it's an embarrassment to the United States. The reality is for years we didn't have it, and we have it now, and we have a 24-hour news cycle, and it's 2 hours where we can, basically fill programming, and everybody can go, oh, it's not like we don't know what's going on, right? Right. This isn't some faraway land where it's like, oh, Washington, D.C. so far away. Let's see. I get news read to me once every 6 months, and here's what the president has to say. We know what's going on 24/7. We know what's going on sometimes before they even know what's going on. So we're not going to learn anything new. It's a sales job. You're trying to sell your point of view to the people that haven't already made up their mind on which tribe they're going to join or currently find themselves in. That's it. That's it. No more. No more. That's exactly what this is. It's frustrating. It's frustrating for a lot of people. And I kind of sit back here and I look and I say, I'm bored with the way that you're acting, right? It's good to be strong in things, to have your conviction. But if you're not willing to bend, and one of the things that Trump said is, I remember this, and it was during one of the debates with him and Ted Cruz, and he said, Ted, this is where you and I differ. If I take a path that's not working, I'm flexible enough to make a move. And I think Trump has at least thrown out that olive branch. And I again, the negotiation side of it, people say he's supposed to be the great negotiator, the art of the deal. The problem is when the other person's not willing to deal or negotiate, then there is no art of anything, right? It's just nothing. And that's where we're at. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show's your Twitter. You could tweet at us. Venezuela is having serious issues, and it's something we should be paying attention to. And I was talking about earlier, I tweeted out something about the failures of socialism. And, you get the usual people say, oh, Chad, you just don't understand. It's the same thing. You just don't understand. We're going to do it better. We can do it better. We can do it better. Socialism is a joke, right? Some of the ideas, they all sound nice. But when you want to implement it in the far-flung world that so many of these younger generations find appealing because they don't understand the failures of socialism, how 40-plus countries have tried it before. And I will tell you this. I'll read you a list of countries that you wouldn't want to live in. Right? How about this? Anybody want to live in the People's Republic of China? Right? Now, if you're a foreigner and you're going there for a little while and it's okay and you got business, you might be thinking this is kind of cool. But forever, under their rules, as the Chinese person, probably not. Cuba, anyone? No? How about Laos? Anybody's like, man, Laos, if there's a place, that's Laos. Vietnam? No. When you read the list of communist and socialist countries, North Korea, you get where I'm going with this? You look up and you say, yeah, no, probably not. Its failure should be a lesson. But it's a lesson I don't think is going to be learned. And because you've got a generation that's younger, and when you try to engage them, you'll hear them say that they're proud to be socialist. And you say, well, what about Venezuela? Well, that's not how we're going to do it. That's not what we want. And I say, okay, well, explain what you want. Because it sounds eerily familiar to the guy before Maduro, Hugo Chavez, who also promised many things. And the only thing he's delivered is hell on earth. And right now, I don't even know what the hell's going on over there.
If the person that the United States says is the legitimate president of a country is now been tossed in jail by the person they say is the illegitimate leader of the country, well, what is Trump going to do about that? And that's one of the big questions. But in the meantime, who's in charge in Venezuela? Right now, it's the person with the guns, and that's Maduro. He has the military behind him. If we start seeing large-scale military defections to the opposition, then all bets are off. But that's not what's happening right now.
But I think it's going to. I wouldn't be surprised in the next 24 to 48 hours, you start to hear more officials in the military, the generals, the guys with the bullets, say, I love my countrymen more than I love this guy. I see what's going on, and I'm going to say no. It's time for us to make a change. It is. And this is the thing I always talk about with socialism, right? When guns are the way that you enforce your freedoms, they're not free, kids. They're not. It's an ugly situation over there that we should be paying attention to because we've got a younger generation who's not grown up with the evils of the Soviet Union, who kind of like some of the ideas, right? You've had celebrities who went there when Hugo Chavez was alive and praised him. It's fallen apart, and it's done it on numerous occasions. And this is yet another example. But we continue as human beings to fail ourselves by not looking at history and going, oh, man, well, that didn't work. Let's try it again. And that's what I look out here. I think, because I'm telling you, a younger generation doesn't quite get it. Doesn't quite get it. And like everything else, even when we were young, we thought, well, we know what's best. We're going to do it our way. But how many times did you try to do it your way? And then you're like, wow, mom and dad were right. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. You could tweet at us. Love hearing from you. You can also check us out on the old Instagram. That's the gram for you kids out there. So, for all that's going on in this craziness, let us not forget that the doomsday clock is out there.
The 2019 time should not be taken as a sign of stability, but as a stark warning. It's a state as worrisome as the most dangerous times of the Cold War. This new abnormal is simply too volatile and too dangerous to accept as a continuing state of world affairs. What we'd like to announce is that it is still 2 minutes to midnight, remaining the closest to midnight that the clock has ever been set.
Oh, 2 minutes. Whoo! 2 minutes to midnight. 2 minutes. I think in the 90s, it was 9 minutes to midnight. And so we're 2 minutes now from doomsday. Climate change, more nuclear weapons, instability in certain areas, except for the fact when you look at data, we've never been in a situation where we've had it better at any history in time. Starvation, poverty, all of this stuff is, compared to what it was 20, 30 years ago, has almost been, in many ways, eradicated. Extreme poverty. I think it's only 10% of the world in extreme poverty. But 2 minutes away. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show. There's your Twitter. You can tweet at us. Butcher Box. I love it. In fact, let me tell you how much I love it. I didn't feel that my grill that I had was good enough, so I ordered a new grill. Very cool. Yeah, I just thought, you know what, this meat, this is incredible. How would you like to have, for less than $6 a meal, a month's worth of the most incredible quality and cuts delivered straight to you, like you've never tasted before? Grass-fed, grass-finished beef, the most incredible pork, incredible chicken that is just massive, and now wild sockeye salmon. Boom. That's what you get. And you're not going to find this in stores. You're not going to go in the stores and you're going to be looking through and like, oh, there's this thing in styrofoam. What's going to be? No, not even close. And when you cook it, you're going to be like, why isn't it shrinking? Because that's the way it's supposed to be. Incredible. Here's what they're doing right now. Limited time, because they've got the new wild sockeye salmon from Bristol Bay, Alaska, sustainably harvested. When you order today, 2 pounds for you thrown in, plus $20 off your first box. ButcherBox.com/Chad. ButcherBox.com/Chad. Limited time. Get you right now. Get your salmon. Get $20 off. ButcherBox.com/Chad. It's the Chad Benson Show.
Experiencing separation anxiety? That's dumb. Check out Chad 24/7 at his website, ChadBensonShow.com, and on iTunes, free. The Chad Benson Show. Never feel lonely again.
In this era of iPods, smartphones, and other portable technologies, it's important for drivers and pedestrians to watch out for each other. Walking or driving while distracted can cause serious injuries and many times death. Florida has consistently ranked as one of the deadliest states for pedestrians, with hundreds of people losing their lives each year. According to reports released by Transportation America, over 11% of pedestrians and 17% of bicyclists killed in the United States died here in the Sunshine State.
Well then, drive or don't walk. I don't know if you blame that all on pedestrians. I don't know if you can, but I'm sure some of it, we're distracted. We're all guilty of it. Man, you ever walk down a street nowadays? Everybody's looking at their phone, right? And don't get me started on bicyclists, because I'm going to tell you this. You guys drive me crazy. You do. Especially when you get in the left-hand turn lane. Oh, God, that drives me crazy. When you're in the left-hand turn lane, you're not a car. You're not. You're not. You're not. Drives me nuts. Just be careful. But no matter how careful you are, people are just awful drivers. They're distracted inside of their car as well, and some of them just aren't very good, and some of them are young and stupid, and some of them are old, and they've passed their sell-by date with their skills. It's got to be aware. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. You can tweet at us every single day, kids. Again, much like the post office, kind of mostly, more like Amazon, we deliver to you. It's called your Urban Word of the Day.
It's time for the Urban Word of the Day, fam.
What? Right now?
Time to get a little more hip on the streets.
I can't understand a word you're saying.
Urban Word of the Day.
Top left. Top left. That's when you say something from the heart, right? So this is the lingo here on the show where we give you that you can take to the youths of America and you can understand what they're saying. So when you say top left, man, that's all top left. That means you've said it from your heart, even though your heart's in your center. But we always put our hand over our heart, right? Top left. The truth, love, from the heart. Is your Urban Word of the Day.
Thank you for saying that in dated urban slang so that I'll understand you.
That there was the Urban Word of the Day. We damn stretched your cranium.
It's a very sad situation. That was the richest state in all of that area. That's a big, beautiful area, and by far the richest. And now it's one of the poorest places in the world. That's what socialism gets you.
Yeah, they share in misery. And that's what's going on in Venezuela. And it's going to be very interesting to see how this thing shapes up in the coming days and weeks and what that looks like. It's going to get ugly potentially. And I'm waiting for that first general to say, you know what, I'm going to move these pieces over here, Maduro. So who's with me? 323-538-2423. At Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Tweet at us. Shut down. He's shutting it down still. Chad Benson Show.
The Chad Benson Show.
Independent in thoughts and punk rock in life. It's the Chad Benson Show.
Michael Cohen will speak. They will not thwart this truth coming out.
They will not thwart the truth. That right there is Lanny Davis. Sounds like he should be a relief pitcher from the 70s. Talking about Michael Cohen, who's yesterday said, you know what, I'm going to postpone this whole thing going on the 7th because, I'm being threatened by the president, and he's coming for me, and Giuliani's out there, and he's saying all kinds of horrible things.
Calling out a man's father-in-law and wife in order to intimidate the witness is not fair game, and it needs to be investigated.
Look, here's my thing. Trump and his cronies, you just need to step off. And in particular because this guy, Cohen, is an idiot. He is. He's lied to everybody, and then he's lied some more. He's been called out for it. Then the whole thing with BuzzFeed last week to the point where Mueller, right? Bob Mueller, who reminds me of Fred Gwynn from the Munsters, comes out and says, yeah, it's a bunch of crap. He didn't want to testify because he was going to have to do it under oath. And what happens there when you lie? Uh-oh. And then if you don't lie, but then you found out you lied to Mueller, what happens then? Uh-oh. But he got a subpoena. He did. And if you're Trump and the likes, you know what you do? You stay away. Let him do his thing. Let him. And also, if I'm Trump, for all this insanity that's going on at this moment in time, I'm telling Giuliani, you can't go on TV anymore. You need to go on vacation. You need to take a break. You are so all over the place, I don't even know where you are. So there, right? We're focusing on the shutdown. That's what we're focusing on at this moment in time. We're doing shutdown stuff. We're trying to sort this thing out. It's not getting sorted out the way we thought, but that's what we're doing, right? That's what's going on. Trump today, again, giving his usual impromptu kind of thing, talking about said shutdown as both Senate bills that they tried to pass through that didn't go through.
I know banks are working along. If you have mortgages, the mortgagees, the folks collecting the interest and all of those things, they work along. And that's what happens in time like this. They know the people. They've been dealing with them for years, and they work along. The grocery store.
Yeah, so, I mean, this whole thing is frustrating. I think we can all agree about the frustration that's going on here because there's a solution. It would be one thing if there was 75 things that everybody disagreed on, and you even had people inside of your own party that disagreed on those 75 things, and there was but for all intents and purposes, they agree on all but one thing. And Trump's like, hey, I'm willing to do something, right? I'm willing to do a little something, but I need a down payment. It's what I need.
If we fail, everybody can say we did our best. One last chance to get this right.
If you fail. You know what's sad, too? When finally all of this is said and done, whenever that's going to be, it's next week, it's next month, it's who knows when, they're going to pat each other on the back as if they've done some grand thing. Right? Like, that's what they're going to do. Oh, my God, I can't even believe that. Oh, whew. I did my job. Right? Man, that right there is that also drives me crazy. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. You could tweet at me. So, we're just talking about socialism, which is not a winning formula. 40 plus countries have tried it, and as we've seen, it's all. We've got rising debts in this country. Credit card debts, a lot of people putting a lot of stuff on their credit cards. Debts rising, things are becoming more expensive, life is more expensive. Plus, we're a consumer-based society, and we like to consume on top of all of that. Sometimes we have means, but we even manage to spend beyond said means because the things we need aren't as cool as the things we want. But then there's college. It's going to explode at some point in time, the debt issue. People are trying to figure out, how do we sort out said college debt issue? Billionaire Tony James talks a bit about kind of their ideas. That's been tossed around before, but I think it's getting a more serious look as you see the impact on society with kids coming out of college saddled with so much debt.
Students come out burdened with debt. It gets worse and worse and worse. Big source of financial stress, emotional stress. It affects the parents, their own retirement, because they're trying to help their students fund education. It damages credit ratings, their ability to live lifestyles. It forces them into career choices they might not otherwise make. It's got a lot of negative consequences. And they don't start saving for their own retirement till into their late 30s when they really need to do that in their 20s.
Yeah, in their 20s. But here's the thing. It's what I've been telling you. One of the big drivers and indicators of how well the economy's doing is how housing is doing. We're building new homes. Right? People are buying them, property rises, but also it's not just about, look at what's going on with house and people buying them. It's what happens after that. Because you buy a new house, you put stuff in it, right? You don't buy an aquarium and take it home and don't put anything in it. No, you want to put stuff in it. Same thing with a house. We need a new fridge. I want to do this. I want to do that. That's part of it. Kids are coming out. They're like, all right, I've already got a mortgage. I've got a mortgage already. Oh, and by the way, I've got a mortgage and I've got credit card debt. It's a win-win. The problem is the credit card debt was used sometimes foolishly. Sometimes was used to survive. Sometimes it's a bit of both. And that mortgage isn't a home. It's debt. Here's what they're thinking they might want to try.
So the way the income share agreements work is that it's a percentage of your income. So if you do really well, it's a percentage and you would pay that percentage. If you don't do so well, it's still a percentage. So the overall obligation, adjusts with your income level.
Our thinking, we put a floor on it so people that are low income don't have to pay anything. And the income percentage will be affordable for anyone. So even if you're just barely over the floor, it doesn't cost you much. And if you make a lot of money, you pay a little bit more for your education, but you can afford it.
Indentured servitude sounds like fun. Wait, what? So imagine going to college and you go there and you don't pay for college, but college owns a piece of your income moving forward. Well, that's interesting. Right? And I think if you have the choice and that's something you want to do, I got no problem with that. Here's the way I think we need to start looking at college. And somebody today was just like, well, I think college should be free. And I'm like, it's never free, right? It all sounds great, but then everybody wants to get paid to do their job. And then we're like, so it's never free. They're like, well, it's free in other countries. Yeah, but they don't let you to major in dumbass things in other countries, right? Like look what goes on in China. You think they're majoring in non-gendered, fluid dance, modern art theory? No, they're not. And not everybody gets to go either. This would be my proposal. You want to go to college? Great. What's your major? It's non-gender theory, dance studies, feminine, blah, 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 whatever, basket weaving on top of a mountain with a modern art minor. We're not going to give you any money for that because this is like, we're going to treat it like a business. I'm looking at what potential you have to make money, and that is a negative ghostwriter. I'm just going to be handing you money. It's just not going to work. Sorry, won't do it. Somebody comes and says, hey, I'm going into the computer sciences. Oh, okay. Okay, there we go. Right? And you're like, ooh. Just like you would if you treat it like you're a business. You treat it like you're a business. And you treat them like your business. People may, if you think, let me ask you a question. If you thought, I'm going to have to pay for this myself? Nah, I don't know if I want to do that. I don't know if I want to go into modern art theory, dance, non-gender binary studies with a minor in, hula hooping. I don't know if I want to pay $200,000 a year for that. It might make you think. It might. I'm all for looking at ways to help people get into junior colleges and certain things where, and especially trade schools. But I would start looking at it as I'm taking, just like a small business, if you're going to a bank or somewhere, they're going to look at you and say, what is your potential earnings for the future? Almost treat it like Shark Tank, right? Almost. And I think that's a better way of doing it than what we've got now. But let's say this, do you want to give away a part of your earnings for free college? Sounds good now. But 10 years from now? 20 years from now? 30 years from now? Who gets to decide what? Curious. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show. That there is your Twitter. You can tweet at me. Love hearing from you. We got the Instagram as well. The gram, as the kids call it. You can check it out at Chad Benson Show. And check out the Facebook as well. There's a lively debate going on over there. You can go there and check out the Facebook. We put videos and all kinds of stuff up in the chadshow.com and TuneIn Radio app. Anywhere else, you can grab the podcast as well. AMAC is incredible. They are amazing. They're about protecting the interests of mature Americans. If you're over the age of 50, you need to join AMAC today. I'm giving you a free 1-year membership, right? So you're over 50, free 1-year membership. Doesn't cost you a dime. They don't want your credit card, not one penny. It's a membership for free for 1 year. You're going to have an organization that is going out there and on your behalf in a swamp where there are tons of other lobbyists lobbying against a lot of the stuff that you believe in. They're going to go out there and lobby on common sense immigration reform, fixing Medicare, things like that. Plus, Huge discounts, all kinds of great things. Retail, restaurant, hotel discounts, big time across the country, nationwide. How about Disneyland, Disney World, SeaWorld, Legoland? Yep, discount. Movie discounts? Oh, yeah, up to 40% off tickets. What? That's what it's about. And did I mention it's free? 1 year free, not costing you a penny. Okay, go to amac.us/Chad. Receive your free year. They don't want your credit card. No tricks, none of that stuff. Just go to amac.us/Chad. Free 1 year membership, amac.us/Chad. Or you can call them on the phone, old style, 888-355-1668. 888-355-1668. Chad Benson Show.
No fake outrage here, just the real thing. The Chad Benson Show.
9 out of 10 tax filers do so electronically, and 8 out of 10 get their refunds direct deposited straight to their bank accounts. If you're one of them, you should be okay as far as the timing is concerned. This might be a good year to invest in a professional tax preparer, not because of the shutdown, because of the recent tax law that went into effect in 2018. A certified public accountant will know more about what you can and can't deduct this year compared to the past, and there are a lot of changes. If there aren't any glitches or red flags on your return, you should be good to go at filing time.
Yeah, because in the end, what do we want? We want our money. And it's your money. It's what you want, right? It's not their money. It's your money. They're just giving it back to you. And this is one of those things where if people, let me tell you, if the IRS couldn't get refunds out, if that happened, this thing would be over in 20 minutes. Over. Right? Trump might, people be so pissed, he might give amnesty to everybody and they may build him a 1,000-foot wall. That's because it would be felt by everyone. But nothing to worry about. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. I want to give a shout out. You know, we live in a world where all too often the political insanity is so ridiculous, and the 24-hour news cycle and people screaming at each other and yelling at each other and saying just insane things, and the tribalism is nuts. And Brett Baer was in an accident, Fox News anchor. Him and his family were in a very serious accident. And Rachel Maddow sent a shout out and sent pizza to all of the people that saved him and his family. That's a class act right there. And I think sometimes we forget that, 90+% of us all kind of want the same things. We want opportunity, right? We want to be able to have a chance at doing something. We've got our dreams. We've got all of this stuff. We want those things, right? We want our family to be safe. Want to raise them. We have this, and again, the American dream has shifted over years, but we do want a lot of the same things. And the humanism, because of our tribalism, is completely destroyed anymore, because we're able to detach ourselves from having a soul and being a real living, breathing human being, in particular when it comes to the thing in front of us, the computer, your phone, Twitter, all of this stuff. But I just thought it was a class act, and nobody can talk about it. You know what? And look, I have no problem with Rachel. I may not believe with her politics, but I'll tell you what, she tries to come at stuff with facts a lot more than a lot of other people who are just into stirring the pot. But I think it was a class act, and he tweeted back at her, "Thank you so much." And I just thought it was a class act, and I think we need more of that to kind of remind ourselves every once in a while that, everybody take a deep breath, right? Again, there's no prizes. Nobody's getting a prize, right? Nobody's going to get a trophy for the red or blue team at your mailbox. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Speaking of food, apparently the way that we're going to save the world according to the Eat Lancet Commission, is a planetary health diet plan that will essentially eliminate meats and have us all on grains with very little protein except plant-based protein, and definitely getting rid of beef, which is just I shot it down immediately. I said that is not going to happen, at least not on my watch. And I don't even eat a lot of beef. But when I do, right, I do. Oh, yeah. I love me some steak. I love me some burger. Yeah, absolutely. But that's how they say that this can save the planet moving forward, is getting rid of all of that, going to fully organic and fruits and vegetables. And that's going to save it. Hey, everybody's trying something, man. What's your trenditarianism that you're going to be jumping on? 323-538-2423. At Chad Benson Show, Twitter, ChadBenson. It's the Chad Benson Show.
This is the Chad Benson Show. Independent in thoughts and punk rock in life. It's the Chad Benson Show.
I think he got a real lesson in the separation of powers. He got a real lesson in Article 1. The people govern in this country. Article 1 created the Congress of the United States, the House of Representatives, and we invite the executive branch here to address the State of the Union. He's not a king. He's a president. So I think he got a real lesson in that.
Yeah. And I heard that before with Obama and pretty much every other president. And every president's always said that. You're surprised about how little power you actually have to do a lot of different things. And we're still in the middle of the shutdown. Today they tried, they talked, they tried to get something through the Senate. Each one of them said, this is what we should do, both sides of the aisle. And guess what? Whack to the.
We're talking about a 3-week CR. And all of us believe if we had 3 weeks with the government open, with all the discord coming from a shutdown, that we could find a way forward to produce a bill that he would sign that would be good for everybody in the country. But we need that opportunity.
Well, that's not going to happen because Trump wants either a prorated down payment on the wall or, by the looks of it, you're going to be able to open the government because he's going to declare a state of emergency, and he believes he has found $7 billion for the fence wall thingy. I'm still all about the hedge. I've had more people say, Chad, that hedge idea is great. I said, right? Because technology, beauty, and people say, well, stuff's not going to grow. Well, places where things grow, you put the hedge. If stuff can't grow there, we go to Hollywood and we have design stuff that looks like a hedge, and there could be electronics in it, all kinds of stuff, and we make it really like deep and long, and that way if people are crawling through it, the technology will pick it up and boom. It's a win. Nobody likes my idea? Fine. Whatever. They're not opening this thing anytime soon. I just want to let everybody know that. This isn't going to happen. No. They're dug in. And this is what politics looks like in today's world, where neither of them want to give an inch. And I will say this, Trump, I believe, at least threw something out there. And think about this for a second. People say, well, what did he offer? Well, he offered, what, 1 million people for $5.7 billion? More than 250,000 plus DACA recipients, right? And the protected status. So you're going to get 700,000 people who are eligible for DACA and 300,000 protected status. So that's something, right? To the point where even people who supported him started to go, no, I don't like this. I don't like this. He's giving in. He's giving in. But it is kind of like at some point in time, can we just go, all right, we've had enough. Right? Both sides, parties are getting sick and tired of it. And it's maybe right? They figure out a way to close the IRS and stop everybody's tax returns from coming, which will then put everybody right on the edge, not just people who are directly affected by it, but like right on the edge to just lose it. Maybe. I don't know. And think about this. Stuff's not getting into the economy the way it should, right? We're losing a little bit. That will pick back up eventually when it opens. But think about the stress these people are under, and think about there's a fix. It's that simple. There's a fix. It's not like we don't know what the fix is, right? There's a fix. It's a simple fix. We know what it is. Well, Chad, it's not simple because, the thing and because of that, and then they're going to yell at me, and then it's going to be tweeted, and people are going to be mad. No, there's a fix out there. It's a simple fix. Right? You go negotiate, and then when people go, why did you give? And you say, you know what? Sometimes in life, right, it's the give and take, and you're going to have to give in to a few things to get a few things, and it's not going to make everybody happy, but I'm here to make hard choices that other people won't make because they think in single-mindedness without having any malleability to work around stuff. So there you go. That's exactly what that is. I looked out for the betterment of our government and what we're doing, and sometimes you got to make a deal. Sometimes you just do. 323-538-2423. At Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. You can tweet at me. Venezuela is close, man. It's not there yet, right? But stuff's happening, and if you've not watched it, to me, I just find it to be so intriguing watching this thing melt down over there that should have come a long time ago. But you've got a guy who's 35 years old, who's been in the national spotlight as far as the National Assembly for 3 weeks. And then you've got Maduro, a.k.a. Hugo Chavez, who's continuing to cling on to power, and socialism has failed.
If the person that the United States says is the legitimate president of a country is now been tossed in jail by the person they say is the illegitimate leader of the country, well, what is Trump going to do about that? And that's one of the big questions. But in the meantime, who's in charge in Venezuela? Right now, it's the person with the guns, and that's Maduro. He has the military behind him. If we start seeing large-scale military defections to the opposition, then all bets are off. But that's not what's happening right now.
And I think that's going to happen sooner rather than later. They're already starting to question. You've got people that have lost on average between 17 and 24 pounds because they can't eat. They have destroyed their economy by privatizing stuff, by getting rid of capitalism, by doing all of these things. And when you promise the many and you blame the few, you're not going to be able to survive. He promised them what? Oh, healthcare is going to be the most incredible. It's free. Of course it's free because there's nothing. 3 million people, 10% of that country's population has left. Is it because of capitalism? No, it's not. Everywhere they try it, it fails. But you got a younger generation here that is really, they you know what? And they'll tell you, well, we can do it better. We can do it better. We've already got some social programs where government run. But what they did, as I try to explain to everybody, is something totally different. So when you say you're a socialist, that's a socialist. When you say you want a free market economy, but you want to have some social programs, I'll listen to you. But when you scream that you're a socialist and that everybody should have everything for free, this is what you get. Winston Churchill said it best. We all share in what? The misery. the misery. That right there is the truth. Sharing in the misery. And I have a feeling sooner rather than later, you're going to start to see some cracks. You're going to start to see some generals going, nah, I don't like Maduro. I don't like what this has become. I don't. And we're recognizing him. Canada, Great Britain, all of these other nations are starting to recognize Guaido as the new president there. And the nations, and you are the company you keep in a lot of ways, right? The nations that are saying, oh, you better watch out, America. China, Iran, Russia. Says a lot. Says a lot. 323-538-2423. At Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. You can tweet at us. We're getting closer.
A nonprofit made up of the world's leading science and security experts established the Doomsday Clock in 1947, a hypothetical timepiece representing how near humanity is toward utter destruction.
2 minutes. That's how near. 2 minutes. We're 2 minutes away. We were 2 minutes last year. In the 90s, we were 9 minutes. Now we're 2 minutes away from utter destruction. Not regular destruction, utter destruction. We are 2 minutes away from it. 2. Is that true? No, it's not true at all. We're not 2 minutes away from it. Again, I laugh. It's if it bleeds, it leads. We talked to Steven Pinker earlier this week. He's way smarter than I will ever be. His new book talks about this and how we freak out over stuff like this. But when you go and you look at the data, it doesn't back up any of this stuff. But it is kind of funny, right? Like they're all getting out there and they're like, well, we're just a few minutes away from you. You got climate change, you got dinosaurs, you have UFOs, you have Trump, you've got North Korea, you've got capitalism. We're close. Super close. Or not. 323-538-2423. At Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. You can tweet at us. Instagram, what is it doing to people? It's a very interesting article I read about that. We'll touch on that. And the tour of apologies for the 2020 hopefuls. What have you done in your past that you must apologize for or else? Chad Benson Show.
Feel free to punk this punk rocker any time of the day or night. Reach Chad on Twitter at Chad Benson Show and on Instagram at Chad Benson Show. And oh yeah, the Chad Benson Show on Facebook too. Punk that.
Before presidential candidates say I'm running, this year they're saying I'm sorry.
I haven't always been right.
I was wrong to feel that way.
I apologize.
Democrats eyeing the White House are delivering one mea culpa after another, scrambling to align their positions with the party's shift to the left. Joe Biden is the latest to join the apology tour, now saying he regrets that the 1994 crime bill led to an era of mass incarceration through vastly tougher sentencing laws for those selling crack cocaine.
It was a big mistake when it was made.
So they've got to apologize for the beliefs they had in the past and the things that they did. It's like they have to come virtue signal everywhere and get in front of stuff that they did. And if you made a mistake, it's fine. But it shows you the politicking game, right? Did you believe in marriage equality 20 years ago? No. But I've changed. Have you changed because you really changed? Or have you changed because it's politically expedient for you? Tulsi Gabbard, literally within minutes. And we see this now in the regular world, right? You know? People sifting through somebody's scroll goes back 5-10 years, whatever it is whatever thing that they've done in social media, Twitter, Facebook, MySpace, right? An internet chat room, whatever it is. And they're waiting. They're just waiting. Politics is no different. And so they're all on these apology tours, doing these mea culpas for, like, Joe Biden was the only one who's got to apologize for something? Like, it's look, you tried something. You thought it was right. There's no soft on crime in politics, right? But we're changing now. We're going to be soft on crime. No, we realized that we over-sentenced, and it didn't do the community, and we did it in a horrific way, particularly in the inner city in the African-American community. But you didn't do it because you thought that's what was going to happen. You thought you were doing the right thing because of what was seen as a crack epidemic, and you thought this would be good. It's insane. It really is. And I look and I see this whole, like, you have to come kiss the ring. Please apologize. Kiss the ring. Virtue signal, please. Now, tell me why, mirror, mirror on the wall, I am the fairest of them all. But by fairest, I mean whatever. It's not good. It's not good. And then the guy in the White House, guess what, kids?
Democrats do not have the luxury of holding firm like President Trump, who famously almost never expresses regret.
I may stand before you in 6 months and say, hey, I was wrong. I don't know that I'll ever admit that, but I'll find some kind of an excuse.
Yeah. But he also understands his base, too. He gets his base. His base doesn't want him to apologize. And part of the reasons he got elected is because of this kind of mea culpa BS where you're getting called out for something ridiculous, and they like the fact that he just is kind of a straight shooter and doesn't apologize, right? There's times I think he steps over the line. I think he should apologize, but that's not him, and his base soaks it up. So there you go. You know your base, and if your base says that you have to come and kiss the ring, then go kiss the ring, I guess. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. I read a really interesting article about how many kids, young kids, are getting plastic surgery. And it's not because, back in the day, I mean, I was in high school. We had, one or two girls who got plastic surgery. They got their nose fixed, or, a couple of guys I knew had their nose broken bad and they got that. But that was because of something real or just a few things here and there. Not too much. This has all to do, though, they say, with Instagram. It literally has all to do with the fact that this generation is so influenced by, they could talk about substance all they want. It's all that matters is this, that, and the other. But it's about how good do you look in a picture. And no matter how much you have filters and all of these things to do things, they still they feel like they have to do it. And it's more so that it's a booming industry. And doctors are saying over and over again, they're coming in because they don't like the way their selfies look. They don't like, it's nothing to do with like, well, I've never really liked this, or I've never, it's just natural. And I know that we can make it look a little bit better. No, I've got all the filters and I have all the Photoshop, but it's just not enough. I'm already a 10, but I would need to take me up to 11 if that's possible. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. You can tweet at us. Driving. Stuck in traffic. What if you had to pay to be stuck in said traffic? What? But it's for your own good. Huh? Oh, yeah. Frustration indeed, kids. They're going to find a way to get money out of you and change your habits. Damn it. It's the Chad Benson Show.
The Chad Benson Show.
Independent in thoughts and punk rock in life. It's the Chad Benson Show.
We love to drive. I do. And I live places in my life where I didn't need to have a car. I lived in London. I didn't need a car in London, right? I didn't need a car in London. But, you know, in this day and age, urban sprawl, there's not too many places that are New York and Chicago and San Francisco where you can just, you can live somewhere and not need a vehicle. So we, as Americans, love our freedom, and we love our cars. Let's be real. We love to go and have the freedom of that. A younger generation doesn't matter so much. I've got 2 or 3 of the younger crew that works on the news side here during the day. They don't have cars. In fact, 2 of them are, you know, they don't even have licenses, and they just take Uber. That's all they've ever done. It's no big deal. But in a world that we live in nowadays, and this is going to be coming to metropolitan areas everywhere, it's already done it in small little phases, but it's coming more and more and more and more. How would you like to have to pay for getting into cities and or just driving on the freeway?
LA has some of the worst traffic in the world, but finding a solution is hard to come by. Now Metro and some other groups are pushing for congestion pricing.
Congestion pricing. What's that? Think of it surge pricing to be or potentially not to be in traffic.
Congestion pricing is basically a way to relieve traffic in heavily impacted areas during peak times using principles of economics. So what you try to do is you try to regulate the amount of demand, and therefore you would regulate the amount of supply.
So essentially, their whole thought process is if we charge you by the mile, Los Angeles, Phoenix, some other areas, maybe, just maybe, you won't drive. You'll figure out alternative routes to get to where you want to go. Not going to change the way I drive, right? It's not. It's not going to change the way that I drive. And the biggest issue I find with this is, and they talk about where it works and where it doesn't work, we'll get that in a second, is the fact that we are scattered out, right? We're not just in a center hub where you can hop on a bus or you can get on an underground or a trolley or whatever else that you've got, a horse and a carriage, whatever it is. We're not. Many people live all over the place. In Southern California, you may work in Orange County or Los Angeles, but you live in Apple Valley, you live in Santa Clarita Valley, you live in the Inland Empire, right? People in Northern California, they live in Dixon and elsewhere, but they go into San Francisco and look at what it does. Same thing. You may live in Rockland or Roseville if you're in Sacramento, you in Phoenix, you live in the outskirts all over the place, and how long it takes you to get there. It doesn't matter where you are. We're not in a central hub. And they talk about the success of this.
The plan could mean paying on major highways and freeways like the 10, 101, 60, or the 5, anywhere there's heavy traffic, or possibly something similar to the 10 and 110 expressways, giving commuters a choice to pay to avoid traffic. Other ideas include corridor charging, meaning everyone driving to, say, LAX or downtown would have to pay.
So, would you pay it? That's just it. Would you pay it? It sounds like, great, yeah. So would I pay an extra $5 to not sit in traffic? I think a lot of people go, yeah. But if everybody's paying $5 to not sit in traffic because they're not doing what the ultimate goal is to get you to change the way that you behave, and they're going to do that by taxing you, if you will, and charging you. Call it what you want. You're not going to change that ways. I'm paying you $5 to do the same thing that I was already doing. So in the end, the punishment is you're taking money from me to do something I was already doing, that I'm already paying for, by the way, in other fees along the way.
Seems kind of unfair.
The plan is already working in Singapore, Milan, and London, to name a few. In Center City, London, it costs $15 for weekdays. And New York City is considering $12 a day for cars in all of Manhattan south of Central Park. But could it really work in LA? Charge drivers for a discounted or free ride on public transit?
No. The beauty of it is I like my freedom. If I want to go somewhere, like I've got an appointment to go to. So if I want to get there and this appointment is 20 miles away that I got to get to later on, what time do I have to leave? I have to find a bus because there's no underground taking me there. You know, yeah, it works in London. Of course, they've got the underground. It works in certain parts of New York. And by the way, they're looking at this big time in New York. Again, they're already charging in certain areas. But are you going to give up the way you drive? Are you going to take an extra hour plus to potentially get somewhere and depend on other things? No, we're not. It works in places where so many people reside, so many people live. But I'll tell you this, when I lived outside of London, to get to the station that I was on, Talk Radio UK, I had to take a train. I had to take a car to a train station. I took the train to the underground. I took the underground to where I was going. I drove in 1 or 2 nights a week. It was 45 minutes. It was 2 hours if I did the train and everything else. I don't want to give up my freedoms in the sense of I don't want you to charge because you want me to change the way it is. And for me, my daily commute is about 60 miles. I guarantee you, and I already leave early enough, and it sucks that I get in traffic. I leave 15 minutes earlier than when I already take off. It's insane. And at the same time, I couldn't even imagine taking some sort of bus to train to another bus to another train to another bus to an Uber to get somewhere. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. You can tweet at us. Love hearing from you. We've also got this there thing called the Instagram and Facebook. Chad Benson Show. Check him out across the board. If you're worried about the what ifs when it comes to the IRS, because a lot of it is being talked about during this shutdown of what is going to be affected coming up starting February 1st, from food stamps to all kinds of things that are now going to really be effective, and that 50 degrees of separation is going to come down a little bit further to maybe 15 or 20 degrees of separation. And the big question is when it comes to what? Your money.
9 out of 10 tax filers do so electronically, and 8 out of 10 get their refunds direct deposited straight to their bank accounts. If you're one of them, you should be okay as far as the timing is concerned. This might be a good year to invest in a professional tax preparer, not because of the shutdown, because of the recent tax law that went into effect in 2018. A certified public accountant will know more about what you can and can't deduct this year compared to the past, and there are a lot of changes. If there aren't any glitches or red flags on your return, you should be good to go at filing time.
Yeah. So, but we don't know. I mean, we're losing $1.5 billion to $2 billion a week that is not getting into the economy because of the shutdown, which is not a good thing. And it is this, as we move forward, and it gets deeper and deeper, and as we've talked about and we continue to point out, these 400,000 people that aren't getting their paychecks and aren't accruing hours, this next couple days and potential week is going to be really potentially ugly for them. Because even if they went back to work on Monday, they're still looking at 2, 3, 4 weeks before they get a paycheck. They'll be a couple months behind. They're going to be living on their credit cards, as many of them already are. And that is not a good situation. And our debt for credit cards, very high.
After the Federal Reserve's latest hike, credit card rates are near record highs. The average credit card interest rate, or APR, is now 17%. That's up from about 16% a year ago and about 15% 2 years ago. That rate could climb even higher. The central bank has signaled more hikes to come. Last year, U.S. credit card debt surpassed $1 trillion, its highest level ever. And according to the Fed's latest survey of consumer finances, the average household with credit card debt has a balance of $5,700.
Yeah. That's big. Big time. Got to be smart with that. And when you look back at 2007, right? So we look back at 2007, what happened? The implosion that happened, in particular with the mortgages. But we had built up a ton of debt across the board, and we're in a worse position then than we are now. The difference, debt-wise, is our banks are better prepared for it compared to what they were then. But it's still something to think about.
Rising rates mean rising interest charges on that debt. But experts say that borrowers can take action now to reduce their payments in this environment. There is often room to negotiate. In more than 80% of cases where the consumer asked, the credit card company agreed to waive a late payment fee. 70% of the time, an annual fee was dropped or reduced, and about half of those who asked received a lower interest rate.
Yeah, that's all you have to do. I mean, how many of you do that with your... I tell you what, you're unhappy with your phone plan today, call them and threaten to close it, say you're moving somewhere else. They'll magically go, hold on a second. What if we did this? Do it with credit cards, too. You'd be surprised. All you have to do is ask. 323-538-2423. At Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. What if they say no? Then they say no. What if they say yes? They're not going to go, you were at 15%, but because you asked, we're going to put you at 19%. They're not going to do that. That would be funny, right? Just for asking, it's 19%. 323-538-2423. At Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Tweet at us. Slept so good last night. Didn't sleep good the night before. Didn't have my pillow. Slept great last night. What are you doing? Buy one, get one free. I mean, 2 premium pillows. It's not going to set you back a ton. Nothing wrong with making your sleep better. And that's where MyPillow comes in. 100% machine washable and dryable. 10-year warranty back right here because it's made in the U.S. of A. And they're giving you an opportunity to buy one, get one free. How incredible is that? It's the BOGO, kids. 800-944-4975 or MyPillow.com. Use promo code Benson. When you do order it, right, and you get it, my suggestion, throw it in the dryer. Put it on 15, 20, 30 minutes, right? Get it nice and kind of beat up a little bit and just fluffy and perfect. You're going to like that. It's good, right? Just like when you get new clothes, you want to take it home, you wash them. Do the same thing here. It's incredible. Better for you. The more sleep you get, MyPillow is going to help you with that. Call right now, 800-944-4975 or go to MyPillow.com. Use promo code Benson. You buy one, you get one free. Chad Benson Show.
Running with scissors sounds great compared to this.
Say what? Here's some of the other weird things about car care in cities. Fewest days of precipitation. California leads the way. Arizona, Nevada, New Mexico, Texas. Most days, New York, Vermont, West Virginia, Hawaii, and New Hampshire when it comes to being on the road. Car theft, which to me is vitally important. Lowest, Vermont, Maine, New York, New Hampshire, Pennsylvania. Highest, Oregon, California, Nevada, New Mexico, Alaska. This is interesting. Auto repair shops per capita. California leads, tied with Pennsylvania, New York. Fewest, Hawaii and Alaska. Most car washes per capita. California and Florida and Texas. Fewest, Hawaii and Vermont. Lowest average prices, well, where Hawaii and California are, but the lowest are on average Missouri, Oklahoma, Arkansas, Texas, and South Carolina. Say what? It's funny, per capita. Yeah, you drive around in places like California, you see you see so many repair shops. So many repair shops. So many, and so many car washes. I love this story because it's something that I would do. In fact, we're going to do this with Winston. A man in Pennsylvania, he has an alligator. It helps him deal with depression. Joey Henry, 65, said his registered emotional support animal named Wally likes to snuggle, give him hugs, despite being a 5-foot alligator. The York Haven man says he received approval from his doctor to use Wally as an emotional support animal after not wanting to go on medication for depression. I had Wally, and when I came home and was around him, it was all good. You know what? It's great. Look, there's not. Well, it's an alligator. I know it's an alligator. So what? They're animals too. Let me tell you something. My lizard that I always joke about here, Winston. Winston's he's about 4.5, almost 5 feet long. He free roams the house. He's got a perch that he's on that he looks out at the window, goes out back, does his business, hangs out there all day, comes back in at night. You open the door, he wanders back and does his stuff. But there's people he likes and people he doesn't like, and he nods his head when he sees you, and it's hilarious. The same thing. We've got the cats, right? We have Mean Cat, right? Kitty Cupcake is awful, and then we have Three, the three-legged cat. That's his name today, Three, and he loves Three. He doesn't like the other cat at all. Loves Three. Three and him will sit in the window together. It's hilarious. Other cat, he wants to see if it's a walking around banana. I'm going to taste you, see what that's like. But it's an alligator. He's not going to get that big. How does he have an alligator? Should he not have alligators? Well, yeah, you can have like certain parts of the country. You'd be surprised the kind of animals. Phil and I always joke around at least once or twice a week. I'm like, Phil's like, what are you doing? I'm like, I'm looking to see. Hey, do you know you can buy I found a place you can buy a tiger. Yeah, and they're smart, right? You know, he said he rescued him outside in Orlando, Florida, at 14 months old. He's still growing. He could be up to 16 feet. It won't happen in his lifetime. He'll probably max out right around 7 or 8, and they're not hard to take care of. They're not. They're just like any other pet, except for the part where they can eat you. But you know what? Dogs and cats, you die in the house and nobody comes and gets you, they'll eat you. They will. They'll gobble you up. 323-538-2423. At Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Tweet at us. We're still in the middle of a shutdown, and Trump said supposedly he's found dollar bills, and then he may declare a state of emergency and take that $7 billion that he found through military and elsewhere and put it towards the wall, which is a possibility. I'm not saying it is or not. Who knows? But if he did, it kind of puts him in a situation where he lets everybody else off the hook, because you don't have to worry about the battle anymore and who won and who lost. Nancy could be hailed a hero as somebody who resisted, but then everybody can get back to work. We'll see. 323-538-2423. At Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. You can tweet at us. Check us out. ChadShow.com. Grab your podcast there. Check out the Facebook as well. We do videos all the time. Check it out. Go there. Share it. Like it. Be our friends. We try to participate as much as possible with you. It's the Chad Benson Show.
This is the Chad Benson Show. Independent in thoughts and punk rock in life. It's the Chad Benson Show.
You can spend all day trying to teach a goat how to climb a tree, but you're better off hiring a squirrel in the first place.
I love him. He needs his own reality show. Senator John Kennedy, Republican, Louisiana. But don't worry, because goat and squirrel and animals, they're not finished.
Whether it's squirrel, jackrabbit, or armadillo, that we are the Article 1 branch of government. And because President Trump says no, we have veto override power. We could get the workers paid, even if he won't sign it.
Yeah, that's true. But it's not going to happen. Again, it's because nobody's willing to compromise. Nobody's willing to, it's trench politics. They've dug themselves into a trench, and they're going to try to go from trench to trench as best as possible, rather than just saying, you know, we don't need to do this anymore. This doesn't serve anybody. This doesn't. But the long game, as I continue to point out to people over and over again, is 2020. Right? That's the long game. That's what this is about. If we can erode the base, if we can hurt him, if we can make him back down, which will erode the base and hurt him even more, then we win. If he stands pat, he gets what he wants, he starts the building of the wall, then he could say, made that promise, I kept that promise. That's a huge feather in his cap. All the while, nothing's happening. It's a joke. It's sad. It's sad that we're in this situation where we can't have leaders come together and just say, hey, let's just sort this out. But it is what it is, right? It is what it is. And this isn't going to go anywhere anytime soon. Trump said yesterday, yeah, you know what? I tweeted out, I'm not going to do the State of the Union until after the shutdown's over. And you sit back and you're just like, it just doesn't look good. It doesn't look good. The way that we're acting, the childishness over something, this isn't one of those things where, you know, they're fighting over something that is just so insane. Like we are so just dug in, and our belief system is such that you have no idea that you don't get it. If we do what you say, everything's going to go to hell in a handbasket and the world's going to fall apart. And they said, no, if you do what we say, everything's going to go to hell in a handbasket and the world's going to fall apart. And there is no fix but our fix. No, there's a fix. It's simple. But you don't care because it's about the long game, 2020. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. And while all of that is going on, people are being affected by this, but the economy is. And remember, the 50 degrees of separation from how it affects you, and most of you it hasn't affected yet, but slowly but surely, the economy, I said, when commerce starts to suffer, that's when the average person will take notice.
A lot of the costs that we're feeling right now is going to be like at the individual level. At the macroeconomic level, relative to the overall economy, then there's a loss of about a little more than 0.1% of GDP each week. But when the government reopens, you get that back.
I'm not going to buy two sandwiches, for lunch when the government opens again, or go buy, 3 lattes that I didn't buy when it was closed. So you don't get that. You don't get that back.
No, you don't get that back. But it will pick up from where it is, and it'll eventually even itself out. But that will affect the numbers for the first quarter, things of that nature. This is, and as we know, as we feel, as our confidence is, that's in many ways how it goes, right? The economy feels like it's wobbling a little bit or slowing down or struggling, then, whether you believe you can or you can't. That's what Ford said. You're right. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. You guys, I touched a bit on it on Monday just because, and it's still out there. And, of course, it's the video that went viral that turned to be just absolute stupidity across the board. You got a kid and you got a Native American, and there's a smirking white kid with a MAGA hat. And
The video appears to show dozens of youths wearing Make America Great Again hat, mocking Native American elder and Vietnam veteran Nathan Phillips.
High school teenagers harassing a Native American elder.
When you have the kind of anger that we saw at the Indigenous Peoples March.
A crowd of teenagers surrounding a Native American elder and other activists as one smirking high school student blocks the elder's path.
We feel that President Trump is giving license to some of this behavior.
The elder says the encounter with the group, an intense stare down with the one teen in particular, leaves him fearful of the future.
It's not just him that disturbs me, it's the others, it's his schoolmates there that are having fun with it. They think it's funny.
And those kids in the Make America Great Again hats that were kind of smirking at him and kind of looking down their noses at him.
There's something wrong with that.
So, of course, and then come to find out, well, it really wasn't everything that a lot of people thought that it was, and everybody jumped to judgment. Some people saying heinous things, tweeting out, virtue signaling and that kind of stuff, and other people apologizing, and then there's lawsuits now and all of this stuff. And I was laughing because, you're hearing people say, you wear that hat. You should expect to get yourself in some sort of situation where you're going to be criticized, maybe accosted or whatever, that it's the new, it's new swastika or hood. And it's so funny because I was thinking about this today. I thought to myself, the same college kids and the same people out there are criticizing them. They'll wear a Che Guevara shirt, right? So think about that. They'll wear a Che Guevara shirt. And they'll criticize somebody who wears a MAGA hat. Because you're a white supremacist, you're all of these things. They'll wear a Che Guevara shirt as if, he's cool. He's cool. No, he's not Benicio del Toro. That just happened to be the guy that played him in a movie. He's not. But he's cool because he stood up to the man. He stood up to the man to implement ideas that failed, that cost lives, that continue to fail, but somehow that's cool beans, right? Somehow that's cool. Like, hey, that's cool. And it's just so funny that that's where we've gotten to, right? It's like the whole thing was like the cool hipness of like the socialism and hey, it's cool. You're cool. And I just laugh and I'm like, man, that's crazy. Right? I'm like, but I'm a cool social. I'm not like a Venezuela socialist where it's all gone wrong and it's all because of, of the oil prices and it's all because of, the way that no. I'm different. I'm cool. I'm skinny jeans, hipster, beard wearing like Che Guevara, but only the cool side of him kind of cool. And it's such a weird thing when you look at this and you think to yourself, so you wear a MAGA hat, you should expect to be yelled at, accosted, potentially get some crap. But you wear a hat, you wear a shirt with somebody who, by the way, despised capitalism and all of that. But you can get his shirt at Hot Topic. And he's cool. Wow. Sometimes you just sit back and go, how do we get here? 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. You can tweet at us. We're laughing. Maybe we should be fearing.
The 2019 time should not be taken as a sign of stability, but as a stark warning. It's a state as worrisome as the most dangerous times of the Cold War. This new abnormal is simply too volatile and too dangerous to accept as a continuing state of world affairs. What we'd like to announce is that it is still 2 minutes to midnight, remaining the closest to midnight that the clock has ever been set.
2 minutes to midnight. Yet, we live... did a great interview this week with Steven Pinker, smart guy, Harvard, all of these things. And he's got a new book out talking about humanism and all of this kind of stuff. He's got all this data talking about the fact that we live in the best time in the history of forever and ever and ever. We live in a time that has never been better than this for humanity, not just Western culture, for humanity. Extreme poverty in the last 30 years has almost been eradicated. We live in a better time we've ever. But wait a minute. North Korea is thinking about talking with Trump again. They're going to come out here in maybe a month, and they're trying to do all. You sit back and you're like, wow, 2 minutes. 2 minutes. We're 2 minutes away, Phil. I don't know what we're 2 minutes away from. What if it gets to midnight? Just curious, right? Like, what if I went up and go, whoop, does anything happen?
I know what happens.
What? That's right. I like that. I don't know if that's true or not, but it would be cool. So we're going to hang out with Judas Priest? Sign me up. That sounds like fun. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Guy just texted and said, I raised a bunch of goats and they'll figure out a way to get up on the tree. It's natural to them. Yeah, but I think a squirrel's probably faster. I want to own a goat. Goats look like I want to get the fainting goat or a pygmy goat. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. I like to sleep. It's weird that I say that because I knew I wasn't going to sleep, so it wasn't a big deal. But man, I tell you what, the energy that I have is great. And here's a little something that now that I've got my MyPillow. One thing I noticed is I'm not hungry throughout the day because I've got enough rest in my body that I'm not trying to feed my body to get the energy because I have so much stuff to do. MyPillow is incredible and doesn't cost a lot of money, and you get an opportunity to put it to the test, which I love. And right now they have a BOGO going on. You buy one, you get one free. 100% machine washable and dryable, made right here in the USA, 10-year warranty. So when you get it, throw it in the dryer, 15, 20, 30 minutes, take it out, boom, go to sleep. Enjoy it. How do you get one? Simple and easy. 800-944-4975 or go to MyPillow.com. Use the promo code Benson, BENSON. You're going to love it. You're going to sleep so much better. Put it to the test. I was skeptical. You try it. You're going to be like, wow, dude, that really worked. That really worked? Yeah, it did. 800-944-4975 or go to MyPillow.com. Use promo code Benson. Buy one, get one free. At Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. ChadBenson. It's the Chad Benson Show.
Deep states? No. Deep doo-doo? Yeah. The Chad Benson Show.
No goats. No goats for you. So socialism's falling apart in Venezuela. If you're not hearing this, you should be paying attention. This is history potentially happening here. You've got a country with one of the largest, I do believe it is the largest oil reserve on the planet. It is falling apart. It has fallen apart for years. Hugo Chavez came in. Oil prices were high, so it could hide some of the things that it wanted to do because it made enough money through oil. But when prices fell, by then they had already gone in and nationalized everything. Businesses started to collapse, hyperinflation, things started to just essentially run out. 3 million people have fled. He passes away. Maduro continues to take Venezuela and the economy over the proverbial mountain, driving the bus. Oddly enough, he's a former bus driver. And now it's gotten to the point where it's ready to catch fire and break out into a civil war. The president, our president, Trump, says, yeah, you aren't the leader anymore. And other countries are chiming in.
The opposition, the National Assembly, which still remains in place, although it has been, its powers have been taken from it, but they still do remain in place. The National Assembly is not recognizing Maduro. A good chunk of countries around the world aren't recognizing him as well.
Yeah. And other countries are recognizing him. Places like Iran, Russia, China are like, hey, Maduro's a good dude. Of course he is. He's not. He's a bad dude. He's an awful human being. And he, like his predecessors, have run the country into the ground. Big time. It's been tried over and over again, and it continues to fail, but yet the insanity goes on because other people try it. People who designed socialism, who came up with all of these brilliant ideas, never once wanted to live under what they created, always above it. Here's some fails when it comes to socialism. Hugo Chavez promised universal medical care for everybody. What do they have? Virtually nothing. Not a thing. It has gotten to the point now where there's nothing in the hospitals. There is no health care. Average person has lost anywhere between 17 and 24 pounds because of food shortages. Lenin promised peace, bread, and land. He gave them the Red Famine. Yeah, Big time. Castro said, hey, we're going to give you more freedom of the press. I wonder how that's working out. Anybody? India's first prime minister, huge believer, Nehru, in socialism, promised to end poverty, one of the most impoverished nations on the globe. And, of course, Mao promised open discussions until the discussions went against him. And then he made Stalin and Hitler look like an amateur when it comes to killing. But you keep trying. Well, Chad, we're 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show. There's your Twitter. You could tweet at us. It's the Chad Benson Show.
The Chad Benson Show.
Independent in thoughts and punk rock in life. It's the Chad Benson Show.
Students come out burdened with debt. It gets worse and worse and worse. Big source of financial stress and emotional stress. It affects the parents, their own retirement, because they're trying to help their students fund education. It damages credit ratings, their ability to live lifestyles. It forces them into career choices they might not otherwise make. It's got a lot of negative consequences. And they don't start saving for their own retirement till into their late 30s when they really need to do that in their 20s.
Yeah. That's billionaire Tony James talking about college tuition and debt. And we've talked about it. The effect it's having on the economy is massive because, those big purchases, house, things of that nature, are put on hold. But what do? I mean, it's the reason the Ocasio-Cortezes and the Bernie Sanders have a huge have this huge popularity is because they go out and they promise the world. It's easy to promise to the masses things, right? Hey, free college for everybody. Sounds awesome, right? Sounds incredible. Let's give everybody free college. Okay, but how do we pay for it? Well, it's free. Yeah, but so is everybody donated? So all the buildings are donated, the electricity, the people that are going to be working at the colleges, from administration to professors and everything, the curriculum, the books, everything is free. Well, no, they're going to get paid. Okay, but who's going to pay them? Well, it's free. Okay, well we're going to tax people. Okay, so we're going to take quote unquote from the few and we're going to give to the masses. Okay, so we're going to redistribute wealth, right? We're going to redistribute wealth. Okay, I'm just trying to figure this all out. Again, easy to promise to the many, easy to do that.
So the way the income share agreements work is that it's a percentage of your income. So if you do really well, it's a percentage and you would pay that percentage. If you don't do so well, it's still a percentage. So the overall obligation, adjusts with your income level.
Our thinking, we put a floor on it so people that are low income don't have to pay anything. And the income percentage will be affordable for anyone. So even if you're just barely over the floor, it doesn't cost you much. And if you make a lot of money, you pay a little bit more for your education, but you can afford it.
So that's what they're looking at doing now. It's a different way. It's a way where you go to college and essentially you're going to pledge X amount of your income to the college. So your college is free in the sense that you're not having debt, but you're in debt for a while, right? Like, depending on which plans that are out there, could be forever. One of the things I was tossing around yesterday was, if I want to see what you're majoring in before you get these loans. If you're majoring in modern art dance with gender neutrality, in feminism studies, with a minor in blah, 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 blah that's going to do nothing, I don't know if I want to give you $150,000 to do that. So you can delay adulthood. If you're majoring in engineering, computer sciences, okay, there's value in that. There is. But, Chad, you're saying there's not value. No, I'm not saying that, you're going to get whatever you get out of it. But if you went, right, like, think about it. I mean, think about it from a small business standpoint, and you're going to get a loan from a bank. Who are they most likely to give a loan to? Hey, this is a need. We're starting an IT company, blah, 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 blah. I've got this, that, and the other. This is where the future is, blah, blah, blah. Or I'm starting a gender studies course / whatever at the, up the street, and I'm going to need $100,000. And you go and you're like, I don't really have it, as far as how many people are going to take this and what this is going to be in need. And no. So why not do that? That's interesting, right? But we just willy-nilly hand out all of these loans to these kids. And now we're looking for ways to figure out, because this is a bubble that is going to explode big time. And it's not just the fact that eventually it's going to explode. It is the drag-on effect of becoming an anchor to our economy, because kids that are becoming young adults are getting tons of money, and then they're coming out saddled with credit card debt and already a mortgage that they can't live in because it's an education, and in many cases an education that they're not going to put to use.
And that helped level things out because, I think we both believe that the great leveler in America is education. It's what everyone needs, and especially as it becomes more of a knowledge economy. Yeah.
But in the end, I would like to see it so, hey, you're not getting, not everybody's getting free college because it just doesn't exist. Right? But what we can do is be smarter about it. And I would like to see the approach of, hey, let's just hold on a second. Maybe, just maybe, we'll decide how much we're going to give you towards your education based on the future of where your education is going to take you financially and what the opportunities are moving forward. Not just here. Everybody gets what they want. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. You could tweet at us. Love hearing from you. Remember that guy Cohen? Remember that character? He's good fun, right? He is now being subpoenaed. Yesterday said he wasn't going to speak, but now they're saying, yeah, hold on a second.
Michael Cohen will speak. They will not thwart this truth coming out.
Thwart, says Lanny Davis's attorney. They will not thwart his truth. He's upset at Giuliani. He's upset at Trump, says Trump's threatening him. Trump is, once again, has taken to Twitter on more than a few occasions and to a microphone, and he needs to just step back for a second and, let him take himself down a path that is going to blow himself up and get himself in more trouble. But when you do some of these things, it just doesn't, to me, when you engage in this stuff, and I know you're reaching your base and you're preaching to your choir, but when Trump goes and does these things, it's frustrating when you throw it out there. You don't need to, right? First of all, you definitely don't need to, based on the fact that the BuzzFeed thing went south so fast that at this point in time, just let him go. Just let him go. And Giuliani, man, somebody needs to get a hold of him because he is doing Trump zero favors in any of this stuff.
Calling out a man's father-in-law and wife in order to intimidate the witness is not fair game, and it needs to be investigated.
Which is what Giuliani has done, and somebody needs to just grab a hold of him by his collar and say, get over here. Stop doing that. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. You can tweet at us. Love hearing from you. People texting in about what I was saying about Venezuela and, and socialism. And it's an ugly thing that people use to gain power. But they spin it as poetry, right? So they spin it as poetry, as if this is an amazing thing, and I'm going to give back to the masses what these people have taken from you. I'm going to give it back, right? Hugo Chavez, right? All the stars went down there, and and Danny Glover and all of them, and Sean Penn, and they just praised him. And I'm going to give to you guys what the few have taken away, and we're going to make it. And what it is, and I think it was Winston Churchill who says the only thing that people share in under socialism is misery. And that's what's happened over there. Absolutely. It's what's happened over there. They're sharing in the misery. And this is something to watch. You need to pay attention to this, not because it's coming here tomorrow as far as the socialism's going to take over, but we definitely have an undercurrent here of people who are getting fed this stuff in colleges, in academia, and they're buying into it that the many are paying a huge price so a few could profit, and that government is a big solution. And I think everybody needs to take a step back and say, is that really happening? I mean, AOC, we hear all that stuff and people make fun of her, and then people championing her. And here's my big thing with AOC. I like it's just shorter, right? Ocasio-Cortez is I look at her, and off the political side of stuff, right? She loves the fame. She does. I worry more about that with her, because I think she's got real beliefs, but I think like she loves the fame. She does. She's enjoying the picture taking and the autographs, and who wouldn't? There's the trappings of it all. I mean, think about this. A year ago, you didn't know who, and nobody knew who you were, right? A year ago, nobody knew who you were. And then all of a sudden, you are an influencer in the world. You're going to Sundance. You're on the cover of Vanity Fair. You've got celebrities treating you as a celebrity as well, and more than you are a politician. And I worry. I look at that and I see you're on Colbert. It's the celebrity. And it's funny, for all the things that she wants to fight for, I look at it and I see, I told producer Anthony earlier, what I see in this situation is very much like, I think you see some of those preachers that, especially in the 80s and 90s, who got caught doing stuff, taking money and stuff. And then when they talk to them later on down the road, they said, the celebrity and the money and the lifestyle, it's seduced. And I see that, off the politics side, just that, you almost see it starting to happen. Just, all of a sudden, the champion for the little guy is enjoying the private jet to Sundance. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. You can tweet at me. Car Shield. So far this week, because of my long commute, and I do have a long commute, 128 plus miles round trip on a daily basis. So I stay in a hotel 1 or 2 nights a week. It's a lot. And then this week I'll be driving all over the place, down to San Diego, and then back up to LA, and then back. It's a lot of driving. So I want to make sure that my car, because I don't have a manufacturer warranty, bought it used, great shape. I take care of it as much as I can, but I got Car Shield in case of the what if. My friend, who just got her car back, 5.5 days, her car was in the shop. She had Car Shield. She paid a small deductible. It was $1,900. And the thing that we were laughing about, she got 5+ days of a rental car for free. So you add that up, that's like $2,500, $2,400 worth of stuff right there. That's amazing. That's what Car Shield will do for you. 24/7 roadside assistance, a rental car for free, right? When your car's in the shop, and she got to choose a shop. She took it to the dealership. They got it done. You don't have to front them anything. You pay a small deductible and you move on. It's great. Do what I did. Get Car Shield. Check out all the plans they have. They got a ton. Maybe you don't need everything. Maybe you need something that covers everything. It's simple and easy. Go to carshield.com. Use code Benson. When you do, it saves 10%. Or call 800-CAR-6100. That's 800-CAR-6100. Mention code Benson. Or go to carshield.com. Code Benson saves you 10%. A deductible may apply. At Chad Benson Show, Twitter. ChadBenson. Your useless fact of the day. Straight ahead. Chad Benson Show.
Set Chad straight. Text the show, 323-538-2423. That's 323-538-CHAD. Someone has to do it. Might as well be you. The Chad Benson Show.
A thing like Kellyanne Conway. I mean, she and the president are symbiotic in their relationship. They look in the mirror, they see each other. They're both narcissists. They don't mind trashing anyone, and they both lie. What more do you want? Why is she still there? He likes her. And as I say, they have a relationship that's, well, mongoose and cobra.
Which, okay, so probably right about some of that, but I'm gonna explain this to Sam Donaldson. So everybody gather around the radio if you'd like. Mongoose and cobra don't get along, right? For those of you who remember back in the day, there was a great television show, a cartoon called Ricky Tikki Tikki. Mongoose and cobra are not friends. They are enemies. They fight to the death. Cobra, deadly. Mongoose, deadly to cobra. Mongoose likes cobra. Tastes nice. So I don't think they're the same. Right? So you could have said like, hey, they get along like two peas in a pot. There you go. That might have worked. Just saying, Sam. Right? With your crazy eyebrows? They are awesome, though.
No, but she leaks good things for him. He hates leakers unless they're leaks that he wants. I mean, presidents are all kind of alike, as the others, too. Ronald Reagan said, I'm up to my keister in leaks. But he didn't mind if the leak really served the purposes of the administration. So I think that's okay.
Wow. Thanks, Captain Obvious. So wait a minute. You like it when good things are said about you, but you don't like it when bad things are leaked out about you? I wonder if that has ever happened anywhere in human history ever. Just nothing is going to get done. I'm just trying to tell you guys, this is why. Nothing is going to get done anytime in the near future. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. You can tweet at us. So global warming, an issue. Some people, it's the biggest issue in the world. For other people, it's a non-starter because it's all fake news or whatever you want to call it. It's all a hoax. But now they are saying we're eating our way into the death of the planet. So Lancet report has come up with a new thing, right? The Eat Lancet Commission has put together a healthy, sustainable food systems that include virtually no beef, little bit of dairy, some whole grains, right? Little bit of added sugars, some plant-sourced protein, and then lots of fruits and vegetables. So stay away from beef because, of course, cow flatulence. But America, by the way, we, just to let you know, we like ourselves some beef. 4 times the average than any other country on the globe. We eat beef because it is great. That's why you go to ButcherBox, right? .com/Chad. It's yummy. I like beef. I'm not going to stop eating beef. I'm not. I can't do it. I love it. It tastes good. And I don't eat a lot of it. But I do like it. Somebody tweeted in or texted in, said, when I was a kid, I was always taught to share. We were talking earlier about socialism and AOC and you know, I look, sharing is one thing. If I want to share with you, it should be my choice. If you're taking from me, eventually, by the barrel of the gun, that's theft. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Producer Phil, what will nature do to you?
Nature will mess you up.
That's right. And your useless fact of the day. 10 minutes of a hurricane releases more energy than all nuclear weapons combined. Again, nature will mess you up. We'll do it again tomorrow. That's Friday to you, kids. Night-night, Jack.
is The Chad Benson Show.